welcome back to another episode of Hot to Trot. We're finishing out International Women's Day, where we celebrated all month long, and we have the best guest today. We have Sabine Spring, who is the assistant race secretary over at Pocono Downs, but she is amazing. I mean, she wears so many hats, and you're going to get to hear all about it in this interview, so I'm excited for you guys to listen in on this. But Ashley, what's been going on in your life before we head into our fun interview for today?
My back is killing me today, so if I'm sitting weird during this interview, it's because I can't crack it. No one's here to crack my back for me. And it's because I fell going to the mailbox yesterday. I tripped over my own feet and fell flat on my face. So
Ashley is truly the clumsiest person I've ever met. I have to tell this story. This is too good. So when I first started working for PHRA, one of my first events was the PA Derby. This was 2 years ago. So Ashley and I are out on the track. We're getting our content. We're having a good time. All of a sudden, I feel something hit my leg. I'm like, what? I look back. Ashley's face down. And I mean, face down in the dirt. She had a beautiful dress on and boots. Face down in the dirt. I'm like, oh my God, I thought she passed out. And I was like, how did you get down there? All these people run up to try and help her up. And she goes, just let the earth swallow me. It was so bad.
She would have died.
Literally everyone saw it because people were on the way to the winner's circle. Oh my God, I was crying. I was literally like, oh God, I hope she's okay. But it was so funny that she was just face down. There's dirt on her nose. It was so bad. Oh God, I wish someone would have videoed it. It made me so happy. She's okay, so it's okay to laugh.
What made it so much worse was it was literally right after the PA Derby, so there was thousands of people against the rail. It felt like 1,000 people were just staring at me, and I laid there for a minute. I had a Coke in my hand, so then everyone saw the liquid and they thought I was bleeding. So everyone goes to pick me up. I'm like, no, just leave me here. Please don't pick me up. I just want to die right here. Just start pushing dirt on me. You can bury me in the winner's circle at Parks. I will be okay. But I am the biggest klutz. I don't know. I have 2 left feet. It's really surprising. I used to ski when I was younger, and that's probably my parents always said, you're so graceful when you ski, Ashley, but you are like a giraffe. When I wear heels, it's like watching a baby deer learn how to walk within the first 20, or a baby horse. That is me. I am wobbly.
It makes for great stories, though. We love your falling because it makes us laugh. Because you're always okay, so it's fine.
I'm like rubber. I bounce a bit. But I love that you will literally laugh so hard just thinking about that moment. It brings the biggest smile to your face whenever you bring it up.
I love to tell people that story because I literally thought you passed out. I didn't know why something hit my leg. It happened so fast, but you sitting there going, let the earth swallow me, just was the icing on the cake because there were so many people around.
I had dirt in my teeth. I remember there was dirt in my teeth. I just remember 2 people picking me up, and you automatically just started trying to brush all the dirt off my face and body. Oh, I'm a mess.
It was everywhere. Every time we're at Parks now, I watch where I walk so hardcore because I'm like, I don't want to be like Ashley. I don't want to fall face first in this dirt in front of everyone. I get nervous. I wear the flattest shoes. I avoid all problems. Yeah. This year, I'm going to fall face first for making fun of you so much. So that'll be my karma.
Karma's coming for you. Well, let's get to Sabine's interview because I don't want to talk anymore about how clumsy I am.
And this is a good one. You guys are going to enjoy it. So here we go.
Spring is here, so you know what that means. More live racing at Parks, of course. The PTHA would like to invite you to come out to Parks Racing on Kentucky Derby, Preakness, and Belmont Day for live racing. Bring the whole family to enjoy the races, family fun, and of course, watch the thrilling Triple Crown action happen. First post is at 12:40 p.m., so don't miss out. Head on over to Let's Go Racing Parks for more information.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us today. We're so excited to have you. Will you tell us a little bit about your background in racing and how you got into racing? Because you're the assistant race secretary, right, at Pocono?
Yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I started out in Germany. Actually, we adopted a retired trotter off the track, and he got me into harness racing. And I made that, after high school and after working as a legal assistant for 3 years, I made that my career ever since.
Wow, so you're from Germany?
Yes, I'm from Munich, Germany.
Is harness racing really big in Germany?
It used to be really big and actually still is. Unfortunately, a lot of the tracks did shut down, and because there's no funding, the purses are really small anymore. But it used to be very, very popular. I mean, throughout Europe, really. It's down to Scandinavia and France, sadly, where they still have big races and big purses. But yes, we had great horses who competed successfully internationally, and Munich was one of the major tracks, Munich Dagelfing.
I didn't know it was big in Germany. I know it's big, in a lot of other European countries, but not in Germany.
Yes, no, it is. Like I said, it was purse-wise. There's still a lot of people involved in harness racing and have good horses and love to race, but it's more like almost like down to amateur sport. People just do it as a hobby. It's hard to make a living.
Is it just trotters over there, or did you have pacers too?
Just trotters. Really, the only European country where they race pacers is Ireland, is Great Britain.
Oh wow! I like trotters too a lot better.
Me too.
Anyways.
I'm still partial to the trotters. Yeah.
I do. I want a trotter filly one day. That's what I really want. It's my dream.
They have a reputation of being difficult to handle.
I'm difficult to handle.
Oh, good. It would be a great match then.
I know, right?
So how did you end up over here and in the horse racing here? Like, what year did you come over and everything to the United States?
I came to the U.S. back in 1999, and that was funny because I was in January of 99. We went to Paris to watch the Prix d'Amérique that Moneymaker won that year, Jimmy Takter. And I had one of my horses I took care of back home. He was a really good horse. He was a world champion. I traveled with him all over Europe to race, and he retired that year. So I was talking to Jimmy Takter in Paris, and I said I would love to come to the US. I've never been there. I would love to see the farms, the racing, and all that. And he says, well, why don't you come and work for me for a while? And I did that. So in April, I came to New Jersey and worked for Jimmy Takter. And I was planning on staying only for 3 months. That's as long as the visa would allow me to stay. And I met my now husband during that time. We've been married for over 20 years now. So that made me stay. I would have never thought that it was really only like more or less planned as a vacation. And ended up being permanent. My husband and I, we both used to train and race harness horses until he started his job as a racing official, as a racing judge at Pocono Downs back in 2004. And I started working when Harris Chester opened in 2006 as the assistant paddock judge there. And yeah, so ever since we both are racing officials, and I'm still involved with the horses on their retired side. I transition and retrain standardbreds and find them homes as riding horses.
Yeah, I love all the work that you do, Sabine. It's been amazing. We've spent some time together at the World Horse Expo, which is coming up. This will be airing after it, but I know you're gearing up. Are you guys going again this year?
We are. Yeah, I'm like, there's always so much to do and so much to organize. So I'm leaving tomorrow afternoon, and it will start on Thursday through Sunday. And yeah, it's going to be busy. It's going to be hectic. But it's extremely rewarding. It's like there's so many people that come and watch our demonstrations that are amazed what those horses can do. Most people are still under the assumption that that you can drive them, but they have no idea that they can be ridden, and then all the things they can do and are willing to do and good at. It's just an amazing, amazing breed of horses. That's why I'm so dedicated to them.
Last year, you guys had like so many standardbreds per like doing demonstrations. I think it was like close to like 15. You
Yeah.
guys were parading around in the main arena. It was amazing.
Yeah, we'll do the same thing again. We got we always try to have like a mixed group of horses and people who can do different disciplines. Because some people they barrel race, do gaming or jumping or dressage, pleasure driving, and so we try to mix it up and really show people their versatility that they can do anything.
That was awesome. So you talked about that your husband's at Pocono, and now you are at Pocono, and you are the assistant racing secretary there. Tell us a little bit for our listeners that don't know what a assistant secretary does at a racetrack, what your job entails.
It is. I would say the racing secretary is probably the toughest job at the track because you can never please everybody. We put the races together. So meaning that, that the people enter their horses in the classes they fit or should fit. And then we sort through and try to put competitive races together. And sometimes you gotta adjust things. Sometimes, horses don't fit the class. And, like I said, that's where the difficult part comes in because everybody wants to be in an easy field. Everybody wants their horse to do good and to be able to make money. And that's just not always possible. If a horse makes money, then they go up in class where it gets more difficult, for them to be competitive. And, that's just the way it goes. And there's always, people are not happy or with their post position. They'd rather have an inside post position where it is easier to be in the mix. But yeah, so that's what we do. It can be stressful sometimes, but it's also a lot of fun.
With the post positions that you talked about, will you talk a little bit about how that works and what horse gets what number, like the process that is? Because some of our listeners may not know, like you're the one because it's a random draw or however it works.
Exactly. It is random unless it is a class where the condition says that the post positions are assigned, which means where the racing secretary handicaps the horses. So the better horses are getting assigned the outside from where it is more difficult to give the lesser horses a better chance from the inside. But the vast majority of races are a random draw. It used to be that we had numbered pills in a bottle that we shake and then shake one pill out at the time. And then that horse on the sheet gets a post position. Now it's all computer generated. So it means the computer does the random draw. We just enter the horses in that race and then the computer scrambles them up and then says, okay, here now, Fritzy has, the number 1 and Joe has number 2. That's how it goes. I think it is a little bit easier because a lot of people think when they have like, 2 times in a row have an outside position that something went wrong that they can't be or that somebody doesn't like them. Where with the computer draw, it's just, it's out of everybody's control.
What would you say has been the hardest thing in your career that you've had to overcome? Because you've worn a lot of hats over the years. You said you were a trainer. Now, you're working as the assistant secretary, a paddock judge. Is there something that's been stand out to you with a job that you've done or a situation that you've been in that has been the hardest to kind of overcome and push you forward?
The hardest part about training and racing horses is that it can be heartbreaking sometimes, because again, if you have a bad post position, your horse may be feeling great and is fit and everything and just doesn't have a chance from that outside position or that the race just doesn't pan out. So now you're basically working for free. If your horse doesn't make any money, you've worked all week hard for free. You ship to the races, you're in the truck for whatever, 2, 3, 4 hours and go home with nothing. And the horses are happier too if they do good because they know it. So that's the hardest part about that. And then now, working on the other side as the assistant racing secretary, it can be heartbreaking sometimes because I'm rooting for people. I want everybody to do good because I know how hard it is. And, so sometimes you hope you could do more for them to help them to be able to be competitive.
What made you make the transition into becoming a race secretary or a racing official? And then did you have to do any special schooling or training for that when you did make the transition?
You do. Yeah, that it is. There's a lot of things that you don't, if you are racing horses as a trainer, there's a lot of things that you don't know what's going on the official part. So you gotta learn that. Of course, it helps a ton, if you have been involved with harness racing because you already know half of the things and the other half you learn as you go that, somebody is teaching you. You don't go to school per se. You learn as you go. You have a million questions and and learn from your mistakes. Yeah. So what made me do that was, it's just, yeah, okay, we do that for a while. It's a great opportunity. It seems like fun. We do that for a while. We can always go back to racing horses and then you just stick with it because it is fun and it is rewarding. And honestly, I'm not cut out to be a tough businesswoman because I fall in love with the horses. So I have the tendency to keep around horses that are not competitive because I'm like, oh my God, where are they going if I don't keep them? And what are they gonna do? And then it's just tough to make a living if you feel that way. You always have to have a barn of competitive horses. And, so that's why I thought, okay, we'll give it a try, do something else, still involved with the sport. I absolutely love, still involved with the horses, with the people. They're just amazing people. They're friendships that will last a lifetime and people help each other. It's an amazing environment to be in, and the horses, of course, and watching the races, watching those amazing athletes compete, and it's amazing.
Really is. So I know you have some pleasure horses because I see you on Facebook all the time. You're always trail riding. How many pleasure horses do you have, and are they all standard bred?
Don't ask. They're all standard breds. I have like 4 or 5 that are here permanently. For various reasons, either their age or soundness or, they might be a little difficult to handle, so they never go anywhere. And I currently have 12 horses, and they, 6 or 8 of them are available for adoption when they are ready. I have 2 right now, they're Kilpin rescues. And the rest of them came off the track where owners or trainers approach me and they say, listen, this horse has been really good to me. I don't want to race him anymore because he had an injury or he's not quite competitive enough, or they reached a retirement age of 14 and can't race anymore. So then they come and learn the ropes as a riding horse. And when they're ready, then I find them the appropriate home where they can do what they enjoy the most after they are evaluated. I mean, some horses, they can do certain things, but excel in other things, and it just has to be the right match. And I have, they're all standard breds. I have one miniature horse as a companion. The rest are all standard breds.
Will you talk a little bit about the process? Like, I love standard breds and I think they make the best riding horses. But for our listeners that have never ridden a standard bred or know anything about them, it's not a bad process to make them into a riding horse. Like, they take it very well. They like to be ridden. Will you talk a little bit about your process and how you retrain them?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you're not talking about training a Mustang who's never been touched. Those horses have been handled since they hit the ground. They are used to a harness, a bridle, a bit, obviously, everything to work around them. So they're usually fairly easy to transition. To be honest with you, a lot of times I'm by myself when I get on them for the first time. And they have no idea what what you ask them to do, but they are so willing. They're like, okay, oh, okay, you want me to, and the good thing is that they respond good to your voice. So you cluck your tongue, they're like, okay, you want me to go? And then they're a little, oh, I got that weight on my back, I don't know what to do. And obviously they don't respond to your leg pressure, but then again, and I start them all without a bit. I ride them in a beetle hackamore or a bitless bridle. And it's never an issue. It's never been an issue. And then after a few minutes, they're like, okay, that's what you want me to do. And they pick it up. They're just so willing to please that, if you take your time and you're patient, it's very rare that a horse is trying to buck or run off with you, and even if they do that, that's maybe just the first few minutes, and then like, okay, it's all fine, it's good. And then sometimes, and then of course, a lot of people ask me, well, does the horse canter? Yes, they do canter. They're horses. They have a walk, trot, and a canter, and a pace if they're pacers. It just can sometimes take a long time to get them into a balanced, collected canter. That they just have to use completely different muscles. They have to learn the aid when you ask them to canter, and then to sustain a canter, and then come back to you and actually canter, not gallop, because that's what they do at first. They're like, okay, we're galloping, and I do that on the trail a lot. It's easy to go up a hill and then ask them to canter up the hill with a lot of praise, even if you get just a couple of steps, a couple of strides, and then they eventually get the hint of it. And but that takes time to actually get a standardbred show ready where you want to do a dressage test or something. That takes a long time to get a nice canter. But most of them you can go out on a trail ride, like right away. We've had a friend of mine with her active race horses. She sometimes brings them out. They never had a saddle on them. We put a saddle on them. We take them out and they walk through the creek and never had a rider on them. And they're just really great horses, level-headed and willing horses.
That's wonderful. I do have a question. If any of our listeners are like interested in perhaps looking at horses that you're working with or finding out more information, where would they be able to find that?
I do pretty much everything word of mouth and on Facebook, social media. I do have a page that that will be starting up soon, a Facebook page. It's Beyond the Finish Line Standardbreds. And I just got my 501c3, tax exempt status established. So people can go to their website. I will be posting the horses that are available there, and then just contact me and ideally, come out and meet the horses and ride them. I have a lot of people contacting me that have been riding for a long time, but never had a standardbred, but hear all those good things about them. And I always encourage everybody to come out and ride with me and see if that's something, because they have a bigger walk and a bigger trot than like your average quarter horse. They're not running off with you, but you get from A to B faster than with a lot of other breeds. And that's something that people might want to get used to it. I've adopted several out, to endurance riders who are, successfully competing in endurance, because they just pulse down at the vet checks. Fabulous. They have that trot that they can sustain for a long time, like almost effortlessly. Because everybody always, was saying only Arabians are good for endurance, but the standardbreds are really kicking ass in that sport.
I love it.
Were you always into horseback riding too, or is that something that you just fell in love with the standardbreds and then wanted to start riding them?
No, my sister and I, we've been riding since we were kids. My uncle he bred Shetland ponies. And believe me, they make you a good rider, because all the scars I have are not from falling off standardbreds, they're from falling off Shetland ponies as a kid. Because they would gallop 100 miles an hour and then put the brakes on and you just go flying and stuff like that. Yeah, so they got me into the riding and the horses. And like I said, when I was like 11, my parents adopted a standardbred that my sister and I shared, a 4-year-old trotter off the track who was batshit crazy, but he taught us well.
Those ones teach you. Those are the ones to have. They teach you how to be a good rider and what to expect.
They really do. They really do. You don't really learn how to ride on a push button horse.
No. We are still celebrating International Women's Day, even though this is going to be airing after the 8th. But we feel like it just should be celebrated all month long. What advice would you like to give women if they're thinking about pursuing a career in the harness racing industry?
I would definitely highly encourage them. We have some fabulous trainers, female trainers and drivers. I mean, the first who comes to mind is Jackie Ingracia. Of course, she's in her 70s and can still, is a great driver. And I'd probably rather have her sometimes than some of the younger guys, especially with a trotter. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's absolutely, there's more and more, women who successfully do this as mostly trainers, and some of them driving as well. We have done the racing on the saddle. Unfortunately, it never really caught on the way we were hoping in this country, but those are almost exclusively women who race trotters on the saddle.
Do you have any favorite horses? Because you've probably come in, since you break horses to ride and find them homes, you've probably gone through a lot to rehome. Have you had any favorites along the way?
Oh, absolutely. And it's really not just one. Their personalities are so different that it's funny every time a new horse comes in and I come home and tell my husband, and oh my God, I love that horse. And he's like, you love them all. And that's the truth. That's the truth. I can't tell you who my favorite horse is. I have one here right now. He's been here for a while actually, who he got hurt on the track, and I've never had a horse like him. He was so depressed that he didn't want to have anything to do with people, didn't want to have anything to do with other horses. He was just a loner. He wanted to be left alone. He didn't want to be touched. He didn't want to interact with anybody. And that's why he's still here. He's been here for like 2 years now. He's still available for adoption if the right person comes along, because he turned out to be an awesome horse. And I would say he has a special place in my heart, because the transformation in his personality was just amazing. Now he follows you like a puppy dog. I turn him loose at the farm, and he's just moseying around, doing his thing, follows me around. He's amazing.
It must be so rewarding to match somebody with a horse that you've retrained and they get along well and you can get the stories back. That must be like an amazing feeling to see them, progress and go on.
You're absolutely right. It can be really challenging sometimes, because people just have completely different expectations when they come, and or they end up adopting a horse and then contact me after a couple of months and this or that, and things that I don't think are an issue, but they are for them. But the most of the time, the horses are a great fit and the people are a great fit, and I've become friends with every single person who adopted a horse from me. We became friends. The local ones, we go riding together, we meet up, and then seeing that horse being so happy and having a job and making the people happy you're absolutely right. That's the most rewarding thing.
Do you mostly ride English, or do you do Western too?
I don't do Western at all. No, just English. I don't know, just what I always did.
You are a good rider then, because English girls always have the best seats and best hands. I just offended someone that rides Western, but
Yeah. No, I don't know. Yeah, I don't really consider myself a good rider, to be honest with you. If I look at myself like in pictures or videos, I'm like, oh my God, that needs work or that needs work. But I ride so many different horses, and I ride a lot of green horses that I ride light. I don't want to, interfere with the horse that much, since they don't know in the beginning what you expect them to do. I don't fall off easy, but I wouldn't say like if I go in a dressage ring that I get high points. That's just how I feel about myself.
Mhm. Well, when you ride a pacer too, like they're so wonky gated at first, you're just not really sure. You don't want to throw them off, so you're like trying not to post, trying not to bounce around. Pacers are just awkward at first anyway, till you get your rhythm.
You know it, yeah, you know it. But the really vast majority of them, they do trot on the saddle. Actually, I've probably had more trotters pacing on the saddle than pacers pacing on the saddle. When they when they try to find their balance, the trotters sometimes switch to a pace. Yeah, but you're right. It's completely different. And then I don't, I think every rider should continue to take lessons throughout their lives, really, because you always kind of get into a slump and get into, if you don't constantly work on yourself. And I don't really have that. I don't have anybody telling me, hey, do this or do that.
You start to get bad habits. So it's good to go get reminded.
Yes, exactly. And have somebody watching you from the outside and point things out. Absolutely.
Part of being on Hot to Trot is answering some hot seat rapid fire questions.
Oh, that doesn't sound good, but we'll give it a try.
All right. We're going to kick it off with, what is your favorite breakfast food?
Peanut butter toast.
Would you rather have no air conditioning or no heat?
No air conditioning.
I hate being hot.
I hate being cold.
Me too.
Do you have pets? And if so, how many?
I have 5 barn cats, a dog, and 2 fainting goats, and a pony.
Oh, the fainting goats. Yeah, we got to hang out with some goats at Farm Show, and we're obsessed. We love a good goat.
They are, yeah. They can. They're very mischievous critters, but also a lot of fun to have around.
What are your goats' names?
Sophie and Lucy.
We're gonna have to get video of them fainting.
I can send you one.
I want one.
Okay.
Just to make me smile on a day that I'm feeling down. I need to see a fainting goat.
They make you smile even if they don't faint, trust me.
I know, they're just so cute. I love goats. I'm obsessed with them. What is your favorite holiday?
Oh, I'm an anti-holiday. So now you're asking me what my favorite is.
If you had to pick one.
Probably Thanksgiving.
Me too. I like the food. I'm all about eating.
And to get together, yeah.
Would you rather text somebody or talk to them on the phone?
Talk to them on the phone.
That's my generation. Donnell's all text.
Yeah, I don't call me, text me.
It really, you have to say, it depends on the person. There certainly are people I'd rather just text.
Yeah, exactly. It's not everyone. Describe yourself in 3 words.
Fun-loving, flexible, adventurous.
I love it that you said flexible. I think it's so important. Like, you just have to go with things sometimes.
Yeah, you have to go with the flow. There's always a way.
Yep. We'll figure it out. We just got a little bump in the road.
Especially in the horse business.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And never know. You never know.
Yeah, horses don't care if you have plans. They'll tell you what you're doing.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
What is the best way that you can start your day?
To see the sun come up.
Like that. We're seeing it more now that the time is changing and we're actually waking up and there is sun coming up. So that's nice.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
What was your last impulse buy?
Probably something horse related that I didn't need. I don't know. I don't know. I can't remember really.
Well, Sabine, thank you so much for joining us here on Hot to Trot. We've had so much fun talking to you and learning more about you and your career and being from Germany. It's been amazing.
All right, Lazy Donnell, Ashley, thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for tuning in for another episode of Hot to Trot. We've had so much fun celebrating women this month, even though it's a Women's Day. We want to do it all month long. So thanks for tuning in. And again, follow us on any of our social media platforms at Penn Horse Racing, or go to our website, pennhorseracing.com. And we have our TikTok. So we're always putting up some fun videos there. Donnell always has me doing some weird dances.
I torture us, and if you're cringing at them, it's fine. We have fun. I have fun. Ashley hates it. But you know what? We got to do it for the content. Got to get that TikTok out there. So make sure you're following us, liking us, repost those videos. We appreciate anything that you guys do to help get Hot to Trot out there, because we've been having fun doing this.
And also, if you guys need any merch, Donnell's wearing one of our hoodies today. Just message us. We'll ship them out. We have plenty of long sleeves and shirts. So get your merch now.
Yeah, they're super cozy. I wear mine all the time, as you can tell on this. So I don't care. I love it. It's fine. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for listening, and thank you to the Standardbred Breeders of Pennsylvania for sponsoring Hot to Trot. We'll see you next time.